welcome to part 2 of the Vintage Christmas mini album tutorial. If you haven't seen part 1, I will link that down below, and I also have a full walkthrough of this album, so if you don't know what it is that we are creating, I suggest you go and check that out, the full walkthrough. I will link that down below as well, and then check out part 1, and then come back and work on today's part 2 version. Today we are going to be working on building the cover, making the binding, and adding all of our pattern paper, doing all the last minute and little extra embellishments, etc., etc. Alright, so we will get going. Alright, so now we're going to make our binding piece. So we'll need a piece of cardstock that is 4 7/8 by 6 1/2. I wish you could see him right now. Tundra is making a very rare appearance on my craft table. You can see just the very tip of him, but he doesn't want to come into the frame. Hi, buddy. What if I bring... No, and he's gone. I don't know why. He's very, very camera shy. He's not very often on video. Anyway, okay, so we've got our piece that is 4 7/8 by 6 1/2. We are going to score it at 1/2, 1 1/4, 2, 2 1/2, 3 1/4, 4, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, and 6. Okay, so once again, I will say those: 1/2, 1 1/4, 2, 2 1/2, 3 1/4, 4, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 6. Okay, so it looks like that. And now what we're going to do so we've got 1/2 inch, 3/4, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 3/4, 1/2. So on one side, one of each of the 3/4 inch parts, we're going to put some score tape. Okay. And then I'm going to remove it one bit at a time. I'm going to add a little bit of wet adhesive over top of that. And I'm going to fold it so that one of the 3/4 adheres to the 3/4 inch section that is right beside it. Okay, and then the other 2 pieces that are beside that are going to fold in the opposite direction, so you have something that looks like that. I'm sure most of you know this binding system. It's a very common one. Okay, so we're going to do that again. The 2 3/4 inch sections that are beside each other are going to adhere together and then fold back on the 1/2 inch sections. So now you've got 2 of them. Okay, I'm going to do that one last time. Okay, fold those together. Okay, so the 2 3/4 inch sections are folding together, and then we're folding the opposite direction on the 1/2 inch sections. Okay, so you'll have something that looks like this. Okay, so it'll be the width of our spine, and this is what our pages are going to go into. So we're going to put some score tape on either side of each of these flanges, I guess you call them. So on the 3/4 inch part, we're going to put some score tape on either side of each one I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to miter the corners where we just added the score tape. So just on the 3/4 inch sections is where I'm doing just a tiny little miter. This just helps the pages to slide in a little easier. Okay, so they look like that now. And I'm just going to give everything a good crease with my bone folder, and then we're going to set this aside actually for the time being, and we're going to work on our cover. The more you crease these, the more your pages will fold nicely and like open and close nicely. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for now, and now we'll get our pieces ready for our cover. Okay, so the chipboard pieces you will need for the spine, it's going to be 6 inches by 2 inches. And then the front and back cover, you'll need 2 pieces that are 6 inches by 9 inches. And then we're going to wrap them in chipboard, or sorry, we're going to wrap them in cardstock. So you'll need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 8 inches by 11 inches, and one that is 8 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so we are going to put glue all over our chipboard here. Okay, and adhere it down onto one of our pieces of cardstock right in the center. So it should have 1 inch on all sides. So we're going to do that to all 3 of our chipboard pieces here. Okay, and then we're going to put score tape all the way around on the cardstock. Okay, and then we're going to miter just like we were with a pocket. When you hit the corner, go out at an angle. I definitely didn't get mine perfectly straight, like in the center, but that's okay. So do that to the other 2 pieces. Okay, so you should now have 3 pieces that look like that. All right, and now we're just going to literally wrap these around. I'm going to add wet adhesive as I go. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. A lot of it is going to be getting covered up with either pattern paper or Tyvek, so it's not the end of the world if it's not perfect. Perfection's highly overrated. Okay, so we're gonna do that to all 3 of the pieces. And I kind of like to train it to go the way I want it to go, and that way it's not a fight when it's time to roll it, you know, to move it around like that. So just kind of help it along. Oh, sorry. I'm throwing all my scraps on top of his head. He just told me that he didn't like it. That's what you get when Mama's frantically crafting and you want to be right behind her. Okay, so once you have your pieces to this stage and they're all wrapped up, we're going to take 2 pieces of Tyvek. So I've just taken the Tyvek envelope and cut a strip that's 2 inches wide, and then just put, and then cut it open, and then put score tape on the back side. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around, so we only need about that much. So let's cut it there, and then we'll see how long that is. So we need roughly like 14, 15 inches, something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to cut the other one to the same length. And then remove the backing. Put just a little bit of wet adhesive on here as well. Okay, and then place, there we go, everything's sticking. Place one of your sides about halfway in on the Tyvek strip, and then place your spine piece on there as well, and make sure to leave a little bit of space. So you want probably about a quarter, somewhere between 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of space, so that your it has room to move. And then we'll pull this up like that. Okay, and now there's room for this to bend, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so put both the spine piece and the other cover on there like that, and then wrap this around. So if you don't have Tyvek, you can use, you can actually use duct tape in place of this if you like, or you can adhere 2 pieces of cardstock together this way and wrap the entire, all 3 of the pieces, put them down on your cardstock together instead of wrapping them individually, and wrap the entire thing all together so it's all one big piece. Okay, so there's our cover, so we can set this aside. So we've got our cover, we've got our spine, we've got our pages. Now I'm going to decorate my pages. I'm going to do quite a bit of the decorating off camera, just because it's fairly, that's the real time consuming process, is the actual decorating. And if there's anything that is important for you to see, I will show it to you as we go, and kind of decide which way I want my pages to go, any order that you like. Yours might all be the same if you did the base pages just exactly the same. So I'm going to put some pattern paper on, and I will come back and show you what I've done, and then we will put it in our binding system and do all the rest of the stuff. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so, I mean, you can put the pages in any order that you desire. Sorry, I'm covered in cat fur. I was just having a cuddle session with Zuri. Let's roll up the sleeves so they're not quite as covered in cat fur. Okay, so I'll show you what I've done, but I mean, you might be using a different paper collection or want to do something different. So I like to leave the decorating process up to you, but goes what I've done. So I've got a little tiny key attached with a brad right there. Just kind of, it's more decorative than anything. And then open it up and some space for journaling, and open it that way. And then like that. So, I mean, you can pause at any point in time if you want to see exactly what it is that's going on, and then just a simple, it's not a cardstock, but it's thicker than copy paper, and it's got like a kind of a creamy, kind of slight texture to it. It's hard to tell, but it kind of goes with the vintage theme that I wanted. Okay, so that's where I went with page 1. And then this will be page 2. Okay, so that goes up, and then these go out, and they go out again. And then I don't have anything in the pockets yet. I still have to put something in the pockets. And now, full disclosure, I wanted a piece of green, and I didn't think I'd have enough green, so I actually used another piece of pattern paper just for this one tiny section. I should have just used a different piece of pattern paper. I would have had enough, but I was getting worried that I might not. So anyway, that's what that is. And then this full scene, I wanted to keep the scene together, so this was the best place to do that. So close that back up. So nothing fancy in the, you know, just very simple matting of the paper. So then this is what, page 3? So it's the corresponding one to this one. Okay, so this is the one where it goes up like this. So I haven't attached all of the paper yet. This is the one where it's the brad and it swings. So I've put this piece of paper on and then put the brad back through, but I haven't got any of the inside paper on because I just wanted to show you that you have to take the brad out. Okay, so take that out, and then we can add a piece of pattern paper there. Okay, so let's do that quickly. Okay, there we go. And now we can re-punch that hole from the front. So we still see the hole here, so we know where it's supposed to go. Guess I'll just use my tweezers. I don't know where my craft pick is right now. Okay, so just punch the hole just so I know where that brad's gonna go. Now we need to take the brad out of this part so we can add all of these pieces of paper. And we'll kind of re-punch the hole as we go so that we keep the hole in the same spot. And I've inked all the edges in the Walnut Distress ink, but you don't have to do that. I just like the look of it. Okay, so I'm going to put that one on. And then again, I'm going to re-punch that hole. So just keep punching it and so that you don't want to lose where that hole is. Okay, now I can put this one on. I mean, I guess the magnet will help show you where the hole is supposed to go, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oop, a little crooked. There we go. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's put that brad back through everything. So through this one, out. Silly girl. I meant to put the brad through and then put this piece of pattern paper on. I didn't want that hole there. Well, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I don't feel like cutting another piece of paper. I'm gonna put the brad through underneath the paper. I'm gonna get a smaller brad though. I didn't mean to have that brad so big. Okay. Oopsies. Okay, so I'm gonna put the brad in and then put this pattern paper, and I'll just use like one of the cut aparts or something on there just to cover over that little hole. So no biggie. Okay, now we will put it through this hole. Okay, open it up. Oh my gosh, I'm really tired apparently. I just did the exact same thing on this side. Well, you know what? I'm gonna leave this in here as a, just showing you that I make mistakes as well. But this is perfect because then it will show you how to fix said mistakes. Darn it. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm really trying to get this album out to you, so I've been working on it all day. So while I have this open, I'm going to add this piece over here, and then I'll show you how it is I'm going to fix my boo-boo. So ideally you want the brad underneath this piece of paper, so I should have put it in afterwards. C'est la vie. I like it better this way. Okay, I'm going to show you what's on the rest of this. So it looks like that. Okay, and then this opens. And then that opens like that, and you can barely see it, but all right, so I've got some of the little cut aparts here. That's cute. And maybe the little, yeah, let's just add these. So I've got the little letters that I cut out, the little letters, and then I've got this cute little lantern, so I'll put the lantern here and then maybe draw a little line there. I might just adhere it halfway, so that way you can still, if you wanted to stick a photo there, you can still stick it under halfway. So that's how I'll fix this part. You can barely even see the hole, so it might have been fine to just leave it, but now I think it looks really pretty with these extra little bitties. They're in the collection, might as well use them, right? Okay, so we'll put that there. Put these at the top. Let's ink them up a little bit. Okay, put this up at the top here. Okay, and now open this up. Okay, so this one's like in a pretty prominent spot. But we've got so much of the brown, so let's introduce a little bit more of that brown. So let's see what we have in the scraps. Well, this just might work out perfect. Alright, so here we go. Like it never happened. It's actually the perfect size and everything. Meant to be. Meant to be. Okay, see? There we go. No problemo. Alright, we got this. Okay, so that is our page 3. Flip it over, page 4. So I'm going to have these two bits on the front. Okay, however, I would like to have, let me just find it. Here it is. I want to have a magnetic swing tab on this. So I've got one of the little cut aparts and I've just kind of triple backed it on some of the pattern paper. Okay, so I've got one single magnet on the back of this, one single magnet here, so it's going to sit just like that on the page. Okay, but to cover up this magnet, I am going to back this piece one more time on some of this plain cream kind of colored paper. Okay, so let's back this. Okay, and then you can put the pattern paper on this side here. Make sure I've got this going the right way. I do. Okay. Okay, and now we can put the other side on as well. I just wanted to show you that magnet there. And I mean, you don't have to do a swing tab here. You can do whatever it is, whatever kind of closure you like, or not have a closure at all. It will stay closed because there's magnets underneath. So this is completely optional. This is just all about you. Whatever you want to do. Now I'm going to poke a hole right on the edge there. Okay, and let the magnet find where it's supposed to go. And then take a pen or something, pencil, whatever, and make a little mark in the paper. Oh, make sure you're straight. I don't think that was straight. Make a little mark in the paper where you want the corresponding hole to go. And now poke that hole. And it's going to go like literally right, I mean, make sure mine is just above my pocket. So you want to make sure that it's not inside of your pocket. Make sure it's like at least a little bit above your pocket. And now we'll put a brad through that. Okay, so through this little tag and through this part of the paper. And then open the tines. Okay, I'm going to put a little piece of score tape over the tines. Okay, and now we can add our pieces onto the pocket. And this is why for putting the piece inside the pocket, make sure it goes in at least a ½ inch. And it doesn't meet the edge of the pocket. You want it to go inside the pocket a little bit, especially on an area like this where you've got, if you've done this and you've got a brad right at the lip of the pocket. You want to make sure that your pattern paper covers the brad and the adhesive over top of the brad. Okay, perfect. I'll quickly show you the rest of this page. So it's like that on either side. And then it mirrors there, and then this pulls down like that. And I don't have anything in the pockets, but I'm going to do that at the end. I use all of my scraps at the end to do that. So whatever I have left over, that's what I do for the pockets. Okay, this is page 5. So I didn't do any fancy swing tabs on 5. I just left it the way it is so far. Can't remember why I left it. I have big plans for these. I don't think so. I think I just wanted to have something to put on with you. I didn't want to do all of it and be like, everything's done. But I also didn't want the video to be 5 hours long just to view watching me put pattern paper on. Oh, that's what it was. I wanted to show you, that's why I left it open. I wanted to show you that on these parts, I used a metal part as a brad. Okay, so on both sides, I did that. So that one goes down, and then this one goes up. So I did mirrored, oh, get in frame, Katya. So I did mirrored metal swing tabs. So I just wanted to show you that. That's why I left that open. Okay, so I'm gonna cover the brads and then put the pattern paper on. I wanted to use this cute little card, but it wasn't quite big enough for the space, so I'm just gonna mat it on some other cardstock. Okay, so that is that. Oh, wrong way. Okay, and then the last page. So I put a little ribbon closure here. So, oh, I should have left these off for you, but I forgot to do that. So I just put a little piece of ribbon underneath each of these pieces of pattern paper. That's it. And then that goes down like that. And then on either side, I've got just plain and then brown. And then these go up. And they also, I like to mirror things. I just like the look of it. Okay. And then tie this up. All right, so that is our pages done. Now we need to put them onto our binding system and into our album. Okay, so make sure that they're all going the right way. I've already got some adhesive on each of the flanges. Okay, so I'm going to do these one at a time. I'm going to take the backing off and add some wet adhesive. Okay, and now, so each of these pages still has an opening right there. Okay, so, and then we're just going to stick the flange inside that opening. Okay, now we're going to do the next one. Make sure the pages are even with each other. Okay, and then the last one. Okay, so I decided to add an extra piece to the binding so that the pages lay a little bit flatter. I just find that I just like the pages to lay flat. I mean, if you don't do this, it'll still work. The pages will just kind of V up a little bit, so I don't really like that. So I'm going to do this. So I've got a piece of cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I am going to get my scoreboard out and score it on the 4-inch side at 1 and at 3. Okay? And then I'm gonna flip it over and back it with Tyvek. This is optional. but I just find that you want the spine part to be really strong. I don't want this ripping at all, so I am going to back it with Tyvek. I'm going to put some wet adhesive on there as well. It's time to get some more wet adhesive. I'm running low. Okay, and now I'm going to fold and crease those score lines. And now this part is going to adhere to our pages, and it's going to be able to bend like that so that the pages can lay flat, and then these two parts are going to adhere to the actual spine. Okay, so I'm going to put some score tape and wet adhesive. Well, I'll put score tape first on these two outer sections. Okay, and then I'll also put score tape. Actually, I'll put score tape on this part as well, where it's going to adhere to the pages. I'll remove this part of the backing, the center part, and some wet adhesive, and then we'll put our pages on there. Okay, so adhere this onto your pages, just like this. Okay, and now we'll remove the backing from these two bits, and these two parts will adhere onto the actual spine itself. It's the best way to do this without getting my hands covered in glue. Sorry if my head gets in the way. Just trying to make sure I have it as centered as possible. Okay, and then press down, press in between all the pages. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. Okay, so once your pages are in, now we can do our front and back covers. So I just want to show you how that adding that piece helps to make the pages lie flat. So see, what happens is that part puffs up, it comes out a little bit, so that way the pages can lie flat. So works out pretty cool. Okay, I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, so on the front inside cover, I'm going to keep it really plain and just add some pattern paper. But before I do that, you don't have to add a closure to this, but I am going to add a ribbon closure. So I am going to take this just simple cream colored ribbon. I'm going to cut two pieces, roughly like, I don't know, 18 inches or so, something like that. And then I'm going to put a piece of score tape along the end of the ribbon. I feel like this is going to be way too much ribbon, actually. I don't need this much. And then I'm going to adhere the ribbon onto the inside of the covers. Is that centered? I think so. Okay, I'm going to do it on the back cover as well. Is that even? Perfect. Okay, excellent. So now we can add that piece to the front. My piece wasn't quite wide enough, so I'm just adding an extra little strip here. Okay, and now on the back, you didn't think I'd forgotten about these beautiful journal pages, did you? So I've taken the journal pages, I've folded them, I've taken 3 of them and folded them in half. Okay. I haven't finished this because I'm tea staining some papers to go on the inside. So I'm going to adhere those on the inside and then punch holes through the entire thing and put a ribbon right here and then tie the ribbon on the outside here. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, you can make a journal any way you like. This is the simplest way. And to hold it in there, I'm going to use a belly band. Okay, but I want to make sure that this doesn't slide out with the belly band. So I'm going to take what I have as the back of the journal, and I am going to put 2 single magnets on the journal, and they're going to be covered up with the tea stain paper that I have being stained right now in my kitchen. Okay, I'm going to cover those magnets up. Okay, and then I'm going to let 2 more magnets find their buddies on the back side there, like that. Put some score tape on those. Okay, and then kind of place this where it's going to sit, just like that. Okay, so now there's a couple magnets there. I'll put some more score tape over top of those magnets, and then I can put my belly band on. Okay, so the belly band is going to be a piece of cardstock that is 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and then I've already scored it, so on the 8 1/4 inch side, score it at 1, 1 1/4, 7, and 7 1/4. So you'll have an inch on either side with a 1/4 inch gusset. We're going to fold those score lines. And add some score tape and wet adhesive to the large parts, the 1 inch parts there. And you can add your pattern paper to this part now if you like. I'm going to do that. I feel like it'll be easier before adhering it. Okay, remove the backing from those 2 ends. And some wet adhesive. Okay. Now I'm going to bring back my journal just for a second because I want to see where it's going to sit, because I don't want to cover up this beautiful image. So I'm going to have my belly band a little bit to one side. So something like that, just so I know where I want it to go. So somewhere around there. Now I'll fold these back to adhere my belly band. Okay, just like that. And now we can add our patterned paper to the actual base, and it will cover up those 1 inch strips and make your belly band really secure. kind of put your hand in the belly band so it doesn't adhere before you want it to adhere. Get your ribbon out of the way. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to add an extra little strip here. Again, my paper wasn't quite wide enough. Okay, and then this will slide right in there like that and magnetize. Hello, Tundra. And he's gone. As soon as he realizes the camera's on, I'm out. All right, so the last bits we need to do, I'm gonna add strips of paper to in between each of the pages. Okay, so all that is left is to add some strips of paper in between the pages. I've got some clips holding the binding right now because I'm trying to move forward and I'm not letting the glue dry. I'm being impatient, so I'm gonna use those clips to help me while I'm finishing things up. So yeah, so strips there. And then don't forget that each page is also a pocket page. So I've got these cardstock pieces that are 8 inches by 5, I believe, 8 by 5. And I'm going to put pattern paper on those and probably add maybe a little metal embellishment to the end of each one so you can pull them out. And then add some tags into your pockets. And then you just need to put your patterned paper on to the front and back covers. All right, so I'm using that as my cover. I think I might embellish it a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to put there yet. I haven't decided. And then I'm going to wait for the spine, the binding piece to completely dry before I put the spine piece on. And then this is what I have on the back. And that is it. We have just completed the Vintage Christmas mini album. I think it turned out really, really cool. I don't want to keep playing with it though because I really want to, I'm going to sit it up like that and really let that glue have a chance to dry without gravity constantly pulling at it. So I'm going to set it up like that, I think, for a little bit, and then yeah, give it a chance to dry. Okay, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So many projects yet to come, constantly crafting. I just wanted to show you that this is literally what I have left. I've got 3 full sheets of cardstock, and I'm going to use those for the inserts into the pages, and then a few bigger pieces, and then a whole bunch of scraps. So this is what's going to go in my pockets, etc. And when I'm done, there will be very, very little left. Very minimal scraps. So I pretty much used the entire collection. And I think it all went really well together. Okay, I'm going to stop yammering. You've probably already left by now. It's late. I don't know when to stop talking. Okay. I love you all. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know that you are enjoying this content and it helps me to create more of it. And if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, and the bell icon will let you know whenever I upload a new video because they're sometimes a little bit sporadic. Okay, love you all. Have a beautiful day or night or wherever you are in the day. All right, bye. Thank you.